Good afternoon. I'm checking in this afternoon just to have a little chat to myself, really, because I need to get this off my chest. And this isn't about weight loss or my dieting journey or any of that. Something that's happened to me this weekend. And with my ability as a perimenopausal woman to overthink the world, I thought I'm just going to put it out there to see if I'm being a bit of a knobhead or not. So diet is still going shit, by the way, but that's a whole nother video. So I just wanted to share what's happened to me this weekend. So I bank with Santander. That's who I bank with. Bank with them since I got my first bank account as a married woman back in 96, 97, right? I've got 4 bank accounts with them, an ISA. I did have my mortgage up until recently. So I'm a long-standing customer of Santander Bank. So I've been saving religiously for a holiday. I have a friend who has terminal cancer, who has a bucket list and really wants to go on a boat trip around down the River Rhine, and was looking for somebody to go with. And I offered my services up, and I have been saving religiously to go on this trip with her. She paid for it up front and I owed her the money. So I've been saving religiously every penny that I can. My mum's given me money, for birthdays and stuff. I take money out of the bank and I put it in a little savings pot, because if it stays in my bank, it tends to get swallowed up with the bills. My husband gives me money into my little pot, and I've been saving religiously, and I finally had the money together. So Thursday and Friday of this week, I bunged all the money in the bank, and then asked her for her bank details and went to make the transfer. Did it all at about 8:30 at night, and 17 times the app asked me if it was fraudulent. 17 times I said no. I input my details 15 times to try and get the payment to go through. Job done, in the bag. Immediately after that, I get a text message from the bank to say they've declined the payment. So that's fine, because I thought, mate, it's not great amounts of money, but I thought maybe I transferred too much in one day. It asked me to phone immediately because there'd been possibly fraudulent activity on my account. So I did try, but they're closed. So I had to wait until the next day. When I wake up in the morning the next day, I check my banking app every morning. I couldn't get into my banking app. It was saying there's been an issue, like we've blocked you. So I rang them up. And I am my own worst enemy. So I need to put that out there. I totally recognise I am my own worst enemy. But I'm not stupid. I'm a 50-year-old woman almost, and I'm, not stupid. So you have to listen to a message on the Santander app when you ring up to say you can't log into your bank account, and they wabble on for ages about fraud. Okay, so I finally gets through to a young lady. Not her fault. I totally appreciate that. But then we start talking about the transaction and why I made it. And actually, I'm not really sure what business it is at this point of why I've made the transaction. The point I was trying to make to Santander was it wasn't fraud. I was more than happy to make the payment. Could they just let the payment go through? But then it became quite sinister quite quickly. Like, they were asking me why I was making the payment, if I knew the lady, how long I knew her, how she provided. And I got really quite cross, because I understand there is an element that they need to protect their customers from fraud, but there also has to be an element that I get to adult my own life, and I was happy for this payment to go through. So this conversation took a bit of a different turn, and I got a little bit narked with the fact that I was almost being asked to give my inside leg measurement to try and get this payment to go through. When they started questioning why I deposited cash, I tried to explain to them, but I've been saving up, and it's just the way I do it. It gets it out of my bank account, my mum, birthdays and things like that. And then they asked me why it was cash. And I said, again, it's my cash. It's what I've earned, what my husband's earned. We've just saved it. And then they said, you need to prove that this cash is your own. So I was like, okay, this is taking the sinister turn. I don't know how to prove it is my own. It is my own. I'm 100% convinced, but I can't prove it. I'm not sure how I can prove it. I mean, I can send bank statements to say I've taken the money out, but they're my own bank, or my mum's statements to say that she's withdrawn money, but there's no proof that she's given that to me. I don't know what this looks like. Then they asked me to provide a tax return, but I'm not self-employed. So I haven't provided a tax return. So it all became very weird very quickly. So I kept saying to him, I can't prove, I don't understand. Like, it's my money. I'm telling you, it's legitimately my money. And they actually then said, we're freezing all of your bank accounts, all of your assets until you can prove that this money is yours. So as of yesterday morning, I have had no access to my own money. I have made 4 phone calls asking them to release my current account. This is sitting in a savings account. Just happened to be the account that I put the money in when I went to the ATM. So I asked them if they could at least give me access to my current account so I can get fuel, food, anything that I might need. My boy's birthday is next Tuesday. I need to get gifts and stuff, and they've refused me access to any of my bank accounts. So I am now totally locked out of all of my banking apps. So I've provided them with some evidence to try and prove that the money isn't fraudulent or illegitimate, that's not the right word, illegal. But I am now locked out of all of my banking apps, and every phone call I get told, we will look at it as soon as we can. We will look at your documents as soon as we can. So for over almost 48 hours now, I've had no access to any of my own money. And it's very, very challenging for me to try and prove that my own money is my own money. And I am actually stunned that I've gone from being a potential victim of fraud to now being a suspect in a criminal investigation, because I'm not a victim of fraud. I absolutely wanted to pay the money. I feel as if me giving consent verbally to pay the money should be good enough for me to be able to pay the money. If they have concerns about where that money comes from, I think that should be a police matter and they should refer me on to the police. But the bank staff asking me personal questions about my financial circumstances, when they've got it all there in front of them, I've run my bank account for 27 years exactly the same way, has blown my mind. So I'm now on Saturday afternoon, when they cut me off almost 2 days ago, with no access to any money at all. Totally frozen my accounts. And I actually can't get my head around that. In what world is it okay for them to just say, we have a thought process with absolutely nothing evidential to back it up, and we're going to freeze all of your money? Luckily, I don't have credit cards. Luckily, I have children who will make sure. I mean, I don't particularly need anything. It's not the end of the world. It's really not the point. They have left a mother of 5 children totally bereft from every financial. And me and my husband share the same accounts. So his card is declined everywhere we go. So we are absolutely no money. And my mind is blown. And I can't get them to give me a timescale as to when they're going to let me access my money. And the challenging thing for me is if they don't accept my proof that the money that is my money that I've put into the bank 100% legally is my money, what happens then? And I'm actually beyond fuming. So there you go. That's the world that we live in today, where a bank account, all your assets could be frozen immediately if you don't say or do the right thing with the banking staff, who then potentially think, with no evidence, that there's something illegal going on. I'll keep you up to date if I ever get my money back, or if I ever get access to my own finances, my own wages. Again, thanks for listening.